You probably know about it by now. I would say it was the third inning. Walker Buehler gets tossed from the game, shortly followed by Alex Cora. Quickly, what happened was there was a runner on first. It was Francisco Lindor, this douchebag, who then is, while it's all going down, is gesturing for Walker Buehler to get thrown out of the game. That was a total putz move, if you ask me. But anyway,
kind of funny, but go on.
Well, funny, but
yeah, but a-hole move.
I mean, punk.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, no, seriously. Like if this were another time, he'd get one in the ear hole tonight.
Oh, that's right.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
No, he wouldn't, because Cora's friends with Lindor, so we don't do that.
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So Lindor goes from first to second. He steals, and the throw goes down. He's safe, and it tends to happen when someone steals and the catcher pops up. The umpire, Estabrook, what's his first name?
I don't know.
Ralph Estabrook. I just made that up, obviously. The Estabrook, the home plate umpire, pops up. And he kind of bails on the pitch, which happens all the time. It shouldn't. It's the umpire's job to hang in there and call the ball or strike. But it happens all the time on stolen bases. The catcher pops up. The umpire stands up with him. Almost kind of forgets even calling ball, whatever. And he didn't call ball or strike. The ball was pretty much down the middle. Walker Buehler looks in, ball or strike, and Estabrook says ball, 2-0. Walker Buehler starts to chirp him. Estabrook, I think, because he blew it, I think just frankly forgot to call the ball or strike and just guessed ball. Was frustrated with himself because he blew it. Started to chirp at Walker Buehler, shut your mouth, whatever. I'm translating. Put a sock in it. Buehler takes a step off the mound. Estabrook throws him out. Alex Cora comes out. He gets thrown out. Who do we blame for this whole situation?
So for the ejection, I blame Buehler. To me, that's one of those things where you can't get tossed from that game, and I'm factoring in the situation from the night before. They had to use their bullpen to pitch half the game the night before. He'd just come off the injured list. He's a fresh arm. He's in the third inning with one out. You can't get tossed. Can't do it. You can bitch about the call, but you can't get tossed. So I know there's sort of a gray area in there. Now, did the umpire handle it well? No, he didn't. But umpires are a-holes. It's sort of a known fact. Like it's part of their DNA. Many of them are. They just are.
Yeah, there's no winners here in this thing because I'm with Mazz. I think Buehler deserved to be thrown out because this a-hole ump held up his hand and warned him a couple of times about balls and strikes. And then he helped escalate it.
Well, he warned him. What he was saying was, don't come off the mound. Because,
but like Mazz says, and they me with umps and refs. I mean, I want them all in a bamboo prison. You know that they run hot and they try to make it about themselves.
Why a bamboo prison?
It's worse.
They torture you with the bamboo.
Yeah,
it's like the bamboo on your fingernails.
Yeah, it's like when they capture you in Nam, like it's
the bamboo prison.
Yeah, it's terrible, and that's what they deserve. So you know how I feel about
them. Just so I don't get the bamboo under the fingernails, I'd prefer an outdoor bamboo prison versus a state cage cell.
The fresh air.
Well, you're not getting,
exactly.
Yeah. You're not getting out either way.
Get to still hear the birds.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But either way,
exactly.
But Buehler he needs to know, like, these guys will throw you out at the drop of a dime. They're looking for a reason to try to make it about themselves at all times, especially baseball umpires. So, dude, like, what are you doing? I get you're running hot. That was a strike. You're pissed. But stop it. Like, don't escalate the situation. And he did.
I'm with Murray. Again, known fact. You have to go in thinking the umpire's an a-hole. Like, you can't go in or you know that he's not. But again, they have scouting reports and personality reports on all these guys. They know what they are.
No, looks alone. You know this guy's an a-hole. He deserves the...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Murray.
He deserves the treatment that Larry David got, the trick-or-treat episode.
Bald a-hole?
Yeah.
You can't get tossed. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't. And I would say that just about of any player at any time. I can't ever remember justifying an ejection for a player.
It's my favorite Curb Your Enthusiasm theme of all time.
Oh, that
it
was a hate crime? Yeah.
Well, no. So the police come to the door, and Larry's a bald a-hole. So I want to report this as a hate crime. And the cop, who's bald, looks at Larry David and says, I'm bald, and I don't consider that a hate crime. He said, officer, with all due respect, you shave your head. We do not consider you part of the bald community.
Yeah. It's great.
The best. 2 digressions there. I'm sorry. That's on Estabrook. Don't be such an a-hole. You forgot to call the ball or strike, and then when you had to come up with it, you guessed, and you guessed wrong. and just sort of own it. He was lashing out. He was transferring his own frustration.
Projecting
is that's the word I was looking for. He was projecting because he not just missed the call, forgot to make the call, and then guessed. Because as happens, it does happen a lot. When that catcher bounces up, that's a harder call for the ump. And sometimes they lose their place too. And so he did. And he was embarrassed by it. And so he projected. And, the rule is he was telling him it wasn't that he was tripping balls and strikes, Murray. So the crew chief, Laz Diaz, put out a pool report, or said to a pool reporter after the game on Buehler, quote, he can say stuff from the mound, but once he comes off the mound, he's leaving his position to argue balls and strikes. Once anybody leaves their position to argue balls and strikes, that's an immediate ejection. So that's, I guess, a rule. Not that I knew it. So as soon as you could, so like if there's
it's like when you're partying at the beach, you can be an a-hole on the boat, but once you reach land, it's on.
I guess, you can trip the umpire a little bit from the dugout, but if you come out of the dugout, you're out to argue balls and strikes.
Yeah.
You can chirp him from third or first base, but if you step off of your position and start to go towards him, if you come off the mound, that's automatic. It doesn't have to be automatic. And Estabrook started it, And so, of course, Buehler follows on Instagram and social media because of course, that quote from Laz Diaz was tweeted out, and Buehler follows up on Instagram by posting, "Who cut the distance?" And he's right. What he's saying is that I was on the mound. He's the one that came towards me. So in that moment, you're saying it's on Buehler just to stand there and take it.
Well, yes. I mean, the other thing is you say your piece and then you move on. That's it. He's not going to change his mind. How many times has that happened? Almost never.
Again, I don't like it, and it would make me crazy too. But as the manager, who now 2 nights off, I would think if I was the manager, I would tell them, no matter what team I was in charge of, guys, they're trying to F you at all times. Just be aware of that. Any of them, bald a-hole, long hair, anyone that's an ump. Their baseline is to F you, so don't try to escalate it. You're not going to win. They're going to throw your ass out.
So Buehler owned it after the game. Let's hear Buehler postgame, Jimmy, please.
This league too long for that to happen. I think for me personally, it's one of those things that you're very conflicted, right? You feel very convicted in what I felt and saw, but at the same time, this is a team game and something I kind of let get out of hand. And personally, that's kind of, the disappointing part of it. Now, watching us play and win and 2-0 tight game last night, winning. I think this, hopefully is some sort of turning point for us, the series, not me personally, but, next start, I hope I can get a little bit deeper. I'm not going to talk about what he did or didn't do. I don't think it's my place. Obviously, those guys don't get interviewed and we do, so I'm not going to talk on his side of it. Obviously, for me, it kind of spiraled a little bit, and I said some things that he thought I shouldn't have said and whatnot. So, at the end of the day, putting our team in a position like that is the only thing I really regret about that situation.
Okay, measured, took the high road. Of course, when it comes to social media, he and none of you can help yourself. So he did comment further. I told you, when Diaz put out that comment about once he comes off the position to argue balls and strikes, that's an immediate ejection. Buehler follows up, well, who cut the distance? So he's blaming Estabrook there for starting the thing by coming off of his position.
Yeah, again, his job at the end of the day is to give innings to the Red Sox. That's the job. And so once you start putting the balls and strikes ahead of that, you open the door to get tossed. They just had to use 4 relievers the night before. Not that that's a small amount in this day and or a large amount in this day and age, because it seems to be a nightly occurrence. But even so, you just come off the injured list. Now all of a sudden they got to empty out the bullpen for you, and they're going to have to presumably make roster moves to refill it for the next night. So that's the part I just like. And by the way, and I'm not justifying the umpire. A-hole. Just, let them yell, tell them enough, and then that's it. Both of you turn around. But Buehler's been around long enough to know. If Brian Bayo does that, I sort of half get it because he can't control himself. This guy's been around and has pitched in some big games. So, dude, just do your job. You should know that by now.